The heroes of Black Clover are faced with a crisis. Lucius Zagratis is a threat so powerful, he might literally be impossible to defeat. The nature of his soul magic means that a single touch is enough to incapacitate his foes. This is a villain who can effectively kill you with a forehead boop. What's worse, each victim becomes a loyal paladin, ready and willing to fight for Lucius. Every loyal Magic Knight who falls to the Magic Emperor becomes one more enemy for the Clover Kingdom to deal with. When Asta returns from the Land of the Sun, he'll have to fight through every Magic Knight squad to even reach Lucius. But never fear, our hero has two new allies waiting in the wings. There's a pair of steadfast mages out there who can actually stand up to Lucius's soul magic. They'll be a great help in taking on the omnicidal Wizard Emperor. Unfortunately, these new allies are Lucius's siblings, Dante and Vanica Zagratis. The two remaining members of the Dark Triad are going to be Asta's most important allies in the fight ahead. Yeah, this is going to be one awkward team-up, but in this video we'll be explaining why Dante and Vanica are the best help Asta could ask for. Let's get to it! Part 1. Strange Bedfellows. Now, let's be clear, the Zagratis siblings are the last allies Asta could possibly want. He wouldn't trust them to have his back in speed dating, let alone in a fight. Vanica and Dante are bloodthirsty lunatics, brawling for the sake of a good time and happy to kill whenever they feel like it. They overthrew Yuno's birth family in a fight that killed his father. Vanica killed Noelle's mother, or at least bears partial blame for Megicula fatally cursing her. These two are everything the people of the Clover Kingdom believed the Black Bulls to be, prior to Asta joining the squad. They're violent thugs, vicious killers, and cheaters. They're villains. If Asta could choose, he'd absolutely turn down any help from the Dark Triad. He'd rather fight the Twisted Wizard King with the rest of the Black Bulls by his side. They're his close friends, the ones who've had his back all this time. Asta's squad is an experienced team, far stronger than its individual members. They should be able to take on the most powerful threats in the world by this point. But Lucius's soul magic makes any regular mage fighting him dangerous. If Yami and his squad just attack the Wizard Emperor head-on, they'd only be more targets for conversion. By the time Asta gets back to the Clover Kingdom, every last Black Bull may have already been turned into a paladin. Even if they stayed free, bringing them to fight Lucius is far too much of a risk. It would just be giving him a new batch of potential minions. We only know one thing that makes someone immune to Lucius's soul magic, and that's being an existing devil host. The Wizard Emperor never used this ability against Asta, even though it'd be very easy to do so. One touch when the young Black Bull has his guard down should remove the flaw of the world. Lucius purified his own devil, Astaroth, long ago. What's stopping him from doing the same thing to Lieb? It would also remove the one person capable of fighting him. It seems like the obvious way to win the fight. But no, Lucius doesn't even try to target Lieb with his soul magic. Instead, he took on Asta in a conventional battle, giving his greatest enemy the freedom to fight with anti-magic. Yes, Lucius won in the end, but that wasn't set in stone. Asta put up a decent fight, countering time magic easily. Facing the young Black Bull like this was a foolish risk if soul magic was an option. Lucius also didn't purify the other Zagratis siblings. Megicula and Lucifero were very traditional-looking devils. The Dark Triad doesn't seem to have been cooperating with Lucius at any point. The Tree of Qliphoth would have killed the humans he seeks to rule over. But Lucius couldn't just force the Triad into going along with his vision for the future. It looks like combining two souls in one body interferes with soul magic. Lucius can't easily target the devil for purification. This is great news for Vice Captain Noct Faust. He's immune to Lucius's abilities. Unfortunately, Noct can't just turn the rest of the Black Bulls into devil hosts. For a start, it's not clear if anyone can perform the binding ritual, or if it only works for those already tied to a devil. All of the devil hosts we've seen come from families dedicated to preserving the practice. Asta is the one exception, and his past with Lieb may mean he fits the bill too. Even if anyone can become a host in theory, Lucius has already purified the majority of the underworld. They're under his control now, ready to be used in making paladins. There aren't new devils for the ritual, and it's dangerous even at the best of times. This isn't something you want to put good people through. If you need devil hosts, you're going to have to settle for those who have already gone through the rite of binding. And that's where Dante and Vanica come in. The Zagratis siblings are the only remaining figures we know are devil hosts, or were at least. If you're looking for people who can resist the paladin process, they're two of the few who might be able to withstand it. They're trained fighters with the combat experience to stand alongside the Magic Knights. Plus, they bring one more advantage to the fight. They know Lucius. They grew up with him back when he was confined to a wheelchair. He must have kept some secrets from his siblings. His whole plan seems contrary to their goal with the Tree of Qliphoth. All the same, the Magic Knights know nothing about the Zagratis family and the magic their oldest son uses. Vanica and Dante can at least provide the Clover Kingdom with a starting point for understanding Lucius. They could lead the Black Bulls to the Zagratis estate, show them around the family library. If anyone has information on Lucius's weaknesses, it's Dante and Vanica. And if you want to be the first to learn these secrets, be sure to subscribe, ring the notification bell, and hit that like button. We're going to get major revelations about the Zagratis soon, and I can't wait to see their past. But now, back to the Dark Triad. Part 2. Accomplishing the Impossible. Some fans believe Dante and Vanica died during the Spade Kingdom raid. That's an easy mistake to make. They were both badly wounded fighting the Black Bulls. However, unlike Xenon, their bodies didn't dissolve. This makes sense. The final portion of the raid showed us that the Dark Triad were never the real threat. Instead, their devils were the one who took center stage. Megicula left Vanica's body via a partial malevolent femcarnation, prior to the end of Vanica's fight with Noelle. The Cursed Devil's latter efforts to kill Vanica were interrupted by Charlotte Rosalie. Lucifero didn't bother with Dante after the Zagratis went down. He manifested directly following the advent of the Tree of Qliphoth. Even after that form was destroyed, he used pieces of it to return to the fight. The final battle of the Spade Kingdom raid was against the Prince of the Underworld himself. Vanica and Dante were entirely irrelevant by that point, unconscious and far away from the battle. They were safe. Now, they might have died during the time skip. If someone found the Zagratis after they were injured, they would have been easy to kill. However, that's unlikely. Without their devil-granted power boost, they're far less of a threat. The Magic Knights won't have had to prioritize locking them up or executing them. What could the Zagratis do without the Spade Kingdom at their command? If the two were able to lie low for a while, any pursuers would assume they died during the raid. The only one who may have known better is Lucius. He has been hatching an intricate plan for some time, and the Dark Triad were trying to oppose it. The Elder Zagratis is very thorough. He may have tried to remove his enemies from the board while weak, but he had every opportunity to kill them as children, and never took it. Lucius even views the remaining Zagratis siblings as a part of his scheme. It's unclear if he cares about them or views them as useful tools, though. Perhaps the Spade Kingdom raid was where their part in this scheme ended. Perhaps he wants to bring them back to his side. Dante and Vanica's fate depends on how Lucius views them. If he still wants to bring his siblings to his side, the pair have likely been imprisoned somewhere in the Clover Kingdom. They've been thrown into a dark cell until Lucius can make them see sense. If he sees them as no longer important, however, he'll have left Vanica and Dante to rot in the wilderness. They've served their purpose in Lucius's plan and lost their devils. Why bother killing them? Either way, Asta and the Black Bulls will be able to find them. Noct's abilities allow him to track down anyone. The two Zagratis siblings could be living in a hut in the middle of nowhere, and the Vice Captain will still find their shadow. If the pair are locked up, the heroes will need to pull off a quick prison break. That won't be a problem for this team, given how much force the Black Bulls can throw at any problem. Soon enough, they'll have two new warriors ready to tangle with Lucius. There's one problem with bringing them into the fight, though. Vanica and Dante both lost their devils. Megicula died during the climax of the Spade Kingdom raid after separating herself from her host body. Lucifero was taken by Lucius, granting our Mad Tyrant additional power. That limits Dante and Vanica's ability to help Asta. Even if they retain their immunity, their power is going to be seriously reduced. They won't have access to a second type of magic, or the Devil's reserve of magical power. However, the Zagratis siblings have a trick up their sleeves. They can perform the Devil Binding Ritual. Vanica and Dante should both be able to pull this off, given time to draw a circle. Subduing a devil without their full power will be difficult, but they both did it before. Winning that fight is the first step to becoming a devil host. They're very familiar with how to battle the forces of the underworld. Their original devils are either dead or under Lucius's control. So are most of the underworld's most powerful figures. They will no longer be available for summoning. However, the pair have another source of power, the Paladins. If the Zagratis can beat one while the rite is set up, they should be able to take the devil within for their own use. This would give the pair some power back, and help free Asta's allies from Lucius's soul magic. Part 3. A Deadly Alliance. All that said, there's one overarching challenge to bringing these two onto the team: The Zagratis siblings would have to want to join the fight against Lucius. At first glance, they have no reason to. Dante doesn't care about humanity, and Vanica throws away toys that bore her. These two psychopaths aren't going to be concerned with the fate of the world. Could Asta persuade them to join the Clover Kingdom? Yes, he absolutely could. There are still some unanswered questions about Dante and Vanica, but there are multiple ways to get them on board with helping Asta. Let's start with what we saw of these two already during the Spade Kingdom arc. The other two Zagratis already have beliefs established that could set them against Lucius. All the Magic Knights need to recruit them is a little well-placed talk no jutsu. Dante's biggest motivation is pride. He was enraged by the idea of a commoner beating him. Being robbed of his devil, the Great Lucifero, must sting even worse. Lucius thwarted the Dark Triad's plan to create the Tree of Qliphoth, refusing help when his siblings needed it. He betrayed the Zagratis clan, his other self leading their enemies to victory. If Dante learns exactly what his brother has been up to, he will be furious. More importantly, he'd blame Lucius for his defeat. It's much easier to accept losing to a powerful devil host than losing to a no-name commoner. If presented with a chance for revenge against his real enemy, Dante would be sorely tempted. This would give him the chance to hurt Lucius, just like Lucius hurt the Dark Triad. As for Vanica, she's a simple soul. Her love has always been the rush that comes from a hard-fought battle. That's more than enough to bring her onto the Black Bull's side for their war against Lucius. If she's given the chance to fight against history's strongest mage, she'd absolutely take it. Asta may have to hold her back from running straight at her older brother, bloody daggers at the ready. This would be the ultimate thrill for Vanica, the best fight ever. She'd even get to fight alongside Noelle, pushing each other to get stronger. Noelle isn't likely to get much enjoyment out of that, but Vanica won't notice. What's more, neither Zagratis is going to enjoy Lucius's plan if he wins. He seeks to create a paradise, one without war or inequality. This doubtless sounded great to Lucius, the boy in the wheelchair dreaming of a bright future. To Vanica and Dante, however, this has to sound like the most boring world imaginable. Perfect equality means no ability to excel. World peace means no more enjoyable fights. The Zagratis may join the Black Bulls purely because their brother's idea of a utopia sickens them. It goes against all the human instincts they most enjoy. Part 4. The Brighter Path. But that's just the starting point. We shouldn't assume the Zagratis are the same people we saw before. They lost during the Spade Kingdom raid. It was a brutal defeat too. Dante was beaten in a fistfight by the near-powerless Magnaswing. He was out cold for the entire final fight, powerless to intervene. Vanica was discarded by Magicula, turned into a mute spectator for Noelle's final battle. The Cursed Devil even tried to kill Vanica in order to fully manifest, burning her soul to complete the Malevolent Femcarnation spell. Vanica didn't take that well. And then there was Zenon, the most loyal of the Zagratis siblings, who died fighting for their dream. Dante and Vanica used to tease their brother, but he was still one of them. They've known him all their lives. He was the most powerful of the Dark Triad and died all the same. That has to be hard to process. These three thought they were almost invulnerable, and have seen they were anything but. It's been over a year since the events of the Spade Kingdom raid. Dante and Vanica have had time to think about what happened. They can reflect on where they went wrong. Defeat gives the pair a chance to realize what helped the Black Bulls beat them. They could have actually grown into very different people. Dante can learn from his mistake in underestimating Magna. With time to get over his defeat, he might even come to admire the peasant mage. He took on the king, showed no fear, and won. Dante has always respected opponents he saw as worthy. If Magna has taught him how worthless his pride was, he could start seeing real potential in humanity. Even an ant can take on a giant and win. That attitude would be the opposite of Lucius's beliefs. The older Zagratis sees all humanity as flawed and in need of replacement. This is the sort of difference that could even make close brothers fight. Vanica, however, would be pushed down the opposite route. She was badly hurt by Magicula's manifestation. For the first time, she's been made to feel real pain. This is a brutal life lesson for Vanica. Actions have consequences. With luck, it'll finally teach her some basic empathy. She was hurt far more badly than Dante during the fighting. She'll have been forced to lie still, resting up to slowly recover. That would give Vanica time to think, to remember all the people she's killed just because it was fun. Did they feel like this? Pain and fear are very uncomfortable things to deal with. It'll leave Vanica weary of fighting going forward. But if given the chance to protect people, to stop additional pain, That might get her to feel more confident. Vanica could put her skill in fighting to use for a better purpose. It'd let her have fun again without causing needless harm. She'd be following Aesir Silva's example, finding real strength in protecting others. The pair both have strong starting points for a redemption arc. Vanica and Dante can understand their mistakes, appreciate the harm they've done, and learn to be better. Black Clover has seen many villains reform after encountering the Black Bulls. The Eye of the Midnight Sun, the Elves, and Mars all eventually understood that they needed to turn their lives around. The Zagratis siblings could finally join their fellows on this path towards growth. Well, Dante and Vanica could. Lucius Zagratis would never lower himself in this way. Redemption requires humility, and Lucius's entire plan comes from self-righteous arrogance. Whatever else you can say about the Dark Triad, they never pretended to care about humanity. They never claimed to be holy or righteous. They sought to make the world more pleasing to them. If it killed most of humanity, so what? That lack of empathy is sociopathic, but at least it's honest. Lucius, however, plans to intentionally wipe out humanity. What was collateral damage in the Dark Triad's plan is his goal. And he's convinced himself that this purge is for everyone's best interests. He'll remake every soul by hand, using his magic to recreate the world. Sure, his perfect humanity sounds idyllic on paper, but at the end of the day, he's doing exactly what the Triad did, making the world he wants to see. Asta called it out immediately, and he was right. Julius protected people. Lucius is throwing lives away and plans to rule the world. He sees himself as a wizard king, but he's protecting no one. He just wants to make humanity well-behaved pawns. Lucius Zagratis is the antithesis of everything Julius Novachrono believed in. Both men may fight for peace, but they have very different interpretations of that word. Julius saw the value in everyone, even outcasts like Yami and William. He cherished their strange and unusual magic rather than dismissing it as a flaw. When the old Wizard King met Asta and Yuno, he encouraged them to surpass him one day. He lifts his people up, while Lucius seeks to grind them into the mud. The Elder Zagratis judges humanity flawed, incapable of redemption, and lacking all hope of virtue. Wouldn't it be amazing if his own siblings proved that wrong? Vanica and Dante were prime examples of everything Lucius thought was flawed in humanity. They were selfish, arrogant, and uncaring. If they're able to stand against their all-powerful brother to protect the world, it'd show they're capable of change. Even the most wicked of humans has the potential to see the light and do better. There's no way Lucius would accept that. That idea makes his entire plan pointless, tyrannical, and cruel. He'd sooner try and kill Dante and Vanica than listen to anything they have to say. But even if he manages to beat them in a fight, they'll have won the argument. They'll plant a seed of doubt for Asta to use in that final confrontation. Perhaps they'll even manage to get back on their feet in time to join that last great fight. But what do you think? Are you down with Dante and Vanica turning their lives around? Do you think the Black Bulls would be able to work with them? How would Lucius react to their betrayal? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, I've been Jack Stansbury, and have an awesome day.